Hey everyone, in today's video I have 4 fun and easy phonics centers that you can use in a K-2 classroom. Now usually when I am doing phonics centers in the classroom, I am working with one small group at my table. So one of the 4 activities I will share is going to be teacher dependent, or at least you'll really want to be there with your students. It's probably the most heavily reliant on an adult being there with them. And then the other 3 are going to be great for independent centers. So if you are ready for some phonics fun, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, and let's dive in. Okay, let's start with the phonics center that you will likely be doing with your students if you were using these 4. So activity number 1 is going to be word ladders. Word ladders were actually invented in 2005, I believe, by Timothy Rosinski. I think if that's wrong, I'll put a little asterisk here and say who it was. But they were invented in 2005, and it is a fun way for students to really think about phoneme manipulation and do a little bit of word study. In case you don't know what word ladders are, here is a quick example, and I actually love using these in 2 different ways. Here you can see 2 different types of word ladders. The first one on top you can see has some images, and the one underneath it has some words, and those are actually riddles. I'll get into that in a second, but essentially with a word ladder, students will start either at the top or the bottom of the ladder. In my case, I had them start at the top here, and they would have to go ahead and identify a word. And then as they go down the ladder, they're going to actually change some phonemes to make a new word, but some are going to remain the same. That's going to be their connection as they walk down or up the ladder. So here you can see a picture of a dog and it's pointing to the tail. Again, another reason I like to do this with my students is this is very important for them to know which words you are actually trying to manipulate here and which phonemes you're trying to manipulate. So you want them to have the word correctly. And these are phonics based, so this one would actually say CVC, so it has to be a CVC word, and this one is wag. So they would start there and then they would go down. Is there a letter or 2 we could change here to make this next word? Wig, then pig, pin, pan, and can. So the vocabulary one underneath actually uses the same exact words, but instead of giving students a visual aid or a picture, they have to listen to a definition or just a little riddle to figure out what word we might be talking about. And I love this because it really strengthens their vocabulary. And often, just so you know, if I'm doing an image one and I'm with that small group, if students don't know what the image is, I'll give them the riddle to help them out so they can get there. Now, those images right there are actually from a word ladder unit that I have. It looks like this, and it includes 36 different word ladders, both image and riddle based, for all different types of phonics patterns. So it goes CVC, digraphs, a ton of different phonics patterns. You can actually check them out. I'll link it down in the description. I like those because students will independently encode or write down each word as they continue to go down, and they can actually see the word above it when they're figuring out what they need to change to make the next word. However, you don't need those sheets to do word ladders as a phonics center. You can take a look at some of the phonics skills you've been working on and come up with about 5 to 6 words that you could turn into a word ladder, and either get images of them to show students the image, or come up with those quick little riddles for students to make their own word ladder on a whiteboard. Students can also do this with magnets as well. So you can put the magnets out and they might change, 1 or 2 letters at a time based on the words that they are doing. Now, one last note about word ladders. This is not something you will want to do when you are just introducing a skill. This will be after you have reviewed a skill for a long time, because this is a nice higher order thinking type activity that's really extending their knowledge about both phonics skills and vocabulary. All right, let's move into some of those independent phonics centers. This next one I love because it is super versatile and you can just switch out the images as students work on different skills, and they can do this over and over. It's called Flip It, Say It, Make It, Write It. Now, that title might be pretty long, but it's self-explanatory, which I love. So let me just show you how this is played. So here is another super easy to do phonics center. And I love it because, like I said, the name of it also explains how to play. So flip it, they flip one of the cards, say it, pig, then they have to make it, and this can be done many different ways. You might have them just use some letter magnets on a board. P-I-G, pig. They could do it like this. If they had another one here, map. I pulled out the letters. I have these little string lace words. Looks like this. I don't know if you can see that very well. But they essentially just take the letters and lace it on the string so they could make the word map on this. You could use Play-Doh, you could use like sand, just some sort of tactile way for them to make the word. So pig, so flip it, say it, make it, and then they write it. So this just helps them encode the word as well, pig. And if you have a whiteboard and marker, you can just do it there. Then they would do the same thing with map. Flip it, say it, map. Let's pretend I made it on the little strings here. Make it and write it. Now these cards right here, I just got a bunch of clip art of CVC words, but you could do this with any skill that you are working on. I am currently getting a bunch of these CVC ones and then other skills too in the Literacy Club with a little recording sheet in case you wanted to make this like a independent phonics center that they can use. I love that one because once students get used to those directions of flip it, say it, make it, and write it, all you need to do is change out those images, and that is a phonics center that can stay there all year long. Phonics Center number 3 is a nice independent one, and these are called Phonics Find It. Now this is a printable center, so students will need the sheets, but they look like this right here. Here's an example of mixed CVC words, and in my unit there are actually 62 different sheets, and they are all phonics based, so in that little magnifying glass, it will show what phonics skill your students are working on. So here it is mixed CVC, and all students will have to do is actually decode the words in that box. So fan, web, dig, fox, tux, and jam. And as they decode each one, they will find the matching image in the grid below, and they will color it in. And then I also love these because I added an extension for them to choose one of the words above and actually write it down on the lines below. And if you are doing this with a small group, they could easily just encode or dictate a sentence that you give them to. I love these too because they're easy to differentiate. If you don't have your students working in homogeneous groups, they can still go to the center and you can just write their name on the top of the sheet that they have to complete. So students can still do this together, but working on a skill that they need to review. I'll go ahead and link those down in the description as well. And just so you know, if you click that link down there and download the preview over on TPT, you can actually try 2 of my Phonics Find It sheets for free. And Phonics Center number 4 is also another independent one, but you could also have students do this with a partner, which would be fun. And this is to do a phonics word sort. Now, I'm not going to spend too long talking about all the benefits of word sorts because I already did an entire video dedicated to word sorts. It looks like this right here. So you can watch that video after this one ends. But here is a picture of the word sorts I like to use. For these, I love doing an open sort, which I do explain in that word sort video. But essentially, students have to figure out what the sort is without you telling them what it is or without different headers telling them what it is. So that's why this one can be nice to do with a partner. And there are a few different differentiated versions. So you can just use words for this, or you can use these images here, and students will again have to figure out the 2 different categories and sort them. And then this picture, for example, has the 3rd differentiated option, which is for them to glue on the image, and then there's a little space on top for them to actually practice writing the word as well. I love using open word sorts because they get students really thinking about the different phonemes in each of the words that they're seeing. And if they're actually looking at the word, they're looking at the different graphemes to figure out what's the same, what's different, and how might I be able to sort these. But again, I have a whole video on word sorts. I'll link it down in the description. And I just wanted to pop on quickly at the end of this video to share one more bonus Phonics Center that if your students have access to iPads, tablets, or any sort of computer they can play, this is a game called Letterbug. Now this is the CVC edition that my husband just completed, but he's already working on a digraph and blend version as well. So for the CVC ones, these are the medial vowels. So let's just pop into the level O. There it said mop. If students don't hear that, they can always click on the image again. Mop. And it will tell them the word. So they are going to take this little bug and they're going to figure out how to spell the word mop. So they will collect different letters along the way to make mop, and they're trying to bring it to the picture down here. So there's a couple different ways they can do this. You can go through these little tunnels, there's these little elements. Now, if they tried to get through this web, they actually can't get through unless they have an O. So while they're definitely trying to spell these CVC words, there's also some fun kind of gaming elements that kids will really enjoy. Once they've created the word mop, it turns green and students can bring it to the image. Then it goes right to the next level.
Pop.
Pop. And then students will have to try to make the word pop. So it is just a fun and simple game. If students ever make a mistake, they can always redo the level. And there are 60 different levels, 10 within all of these. And the mix one is a mixture of different CVC words. This is currently in the SJT Literacy Club under digital, but it's also in my TPT store, so I will link that there in the description. So there you have 4 fun and easy phonics centers that you can do in a K-2 classroom that I think your students might really enjoy. Remember, other than those Phonics Find It ones, you don't need to go out and purchase all of these units. These are just ideas and things that I've already created, so I do want to share them with you, but you can definitely print out some of your own images each week as you're working on the different skills. For different ideas for word sorts and word ladders, just go to Google, type in word sort ideas for CVC or word ladder CVC. You'll find a bunch of different ideas that you can take and make your own for your class. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel and click that bell. That way you're notified of every new video. Right now I am uploading every Thursday and Sunday morning, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.